Hello and welcome to today's webinar on skincare trends for 2024, which is the latest roundtable webinar brought to you by Cosmetics Business. I'm Julia Ray, I am the editor of Cosmetics Business, and it is my huge pleasure to moderate this session. So from banishing tech neck to skin rewilding via products targeting the very specific needs of melanin-rich skin, 2023 has been a hotbed of innovation in this key sector. But what will 2024 bring? To answer this question, we have assembled a team of experts who I will introduce in just a minute. But before I hand over, I'd like to take the opportunity to mention a couple of housekeeping details. Firstly, today's webinar, as all of our webinars, will be available on demand if you would like to revisit or share the content at any stage. And the last 20 minutes or so of this webinar will be devoted to a Q&A session. So feel free to ask our experts anything that you like. You will see a box for questions in front of you, so do use this to send us in any questions that you haven't already sent in as part of our sign-up process. So with all of that said, I will now introduce you to our panel.
Hello everyone, I'm Mariana Yamamoto. I'm Skincare Product and Marketing Manager at Communion. And today I brought here this skincare trend that it's a procedure-inspired beauty, and it's really connected with global aesthetic market that's increasing around the world. As we can see here, $75 billion that was estimated to achieve the end of this year in 2023. And 44% of this market is represented by China. But not only in China or Asia that it's a hot trend, but also in different parts of the world, as we can see here. According to British Association of Aesthetic Plastic Surgeon, it was an increase of 70% in virtual consultation for this purpose. Or even Korea brings the most sophisticated medical aesthetic market in the world. As you can see here, for example, PDO, that it's one of the product that came from there. And in the US, the search for aesthetic treatments such as Botox and fillers has increased. It's a market more than $13 million. And from this, we can see here some movements in social media, for example, on TikTok. The hashtag skin prepare for surgery has had more than 500 million views. Or lip flip, hashtag lip flip has had more than 300 million views. No one enjoys the pain of Botox, the filler, but they want to see this effect. So that's why we can see here at-home alternatives to injectables from cosmetics. An example of this, we can see this clinical beauty or clean plus clinical. Clean is made without potentially harmful and sensitizing ingredients and proving to be effective. That's why clinical beauty. And it is the next big trend in K-beauty. And according to Circana, 66% of the consumer in the US seek for brands that use clean ingredients. It's an opportunity to develop products for pre- and post-intervention treatments. And also to offer to consumer that wanted to replace this intervention or this treatment for non-invasive or really soothing like a cosmetic products. And another interesting thing is the positioning of this type of product. According to Circana and comparing the performance in terms of dollar performance for each for a category, we could see that for natural beauty, it could be different for prestige market and mass market. For prestige, we could see an increase of 90% in dollar performance with average price of $28 per unit per product. And for mass market, we see a decreasing of 60% of natural beauty and with average price of $8 per product per unit. For clinical beauty, on the other hand, we could see an increase of 16% in dollar performance and 8% in unit performance, with average price around $35 per unit per product. It's much more valued, much more with the added value product when we look and compare with only natural beauty. An example of this, I brought here this brand, this called Ourself. It's an American brand. It's alternative to needles and lasers. They say that it's a technological subtopic treatment system that will give the same results as the fillers and laser we know, but with a household product. Or even we can see this Skin Medical that was designed specifically for procedure treatment to a complete system that prepares and the skin before and after of the procedure with the key benefits that is enhance the treatment outcomes, reduces the recovery time, and promote long last and healthy looking skin. Another interesting example is SkinCeuticals, that is a really well-known brand that is now developing this post-injectable system for this purpose. For example, home care regimen designed to help complete results between injectable treatments. And here we have Aveeno with the same, basically the same strategy with this SCOS box for a complete post-procedure recovery system. Another interesting example is this Victor Michael. It's a Californian brand that was designed for this procedure treatment with 4 steps. Ready, that's just to prepare the skin, recover to reduce the skin irritation just after the treatment, regenerate to stimulate the molecule, the skin to recovery and to stimulate collagen, an important molecule biomarkers for anti-aging, and the radiance that is much more for long-lasting effect. And how to achieve more natural looking results with natural ingredients. Here, I brought here some interesting ingredients from Union that has this proven effect clinically, in vitro and ex vivo tests. One product for each step, but basically I'm gonna focus on in the last 2 steps, the regenerate and glow and long lasting effect. So for regenerate and glow, we can have this collagen bio booster cream with EGF stimulation, collagen booster effect, baby collagen stimulation, that is collagen 3, and with this AGEN technology. Let me show you a little bit about this ingredient. AGEN, it's a collagen 1, 3, and 4 biostimulation that works to repair years of damage, restoring the firmness and the elasticity of baby skin, because it will stimulate the collagen 3, the baby collagen again. It is a synergistic combination of apple extract and CO2 supercritical ginger extract with epigenetic modulation. So it will restore the firmness and the elasticity of baby skin, reduces the wrinkle in 15 days and stimulates cell renewal, redensifies the derms and improves the derm's thickness. Results for ex vivo study. Here we have the stimulation of collagen 1 in more than 100%, highlighted in green, as we can see here when we compare with placebo group and 2% AGEN. And for collagen 3, we have more than 1000% stimulation here highlighted in green with 2% AGEN when we compare with placebo. And what is interesting to remember is the collagen 3 is really important to biogenesis of collagen 1. So here we're not only talking about the collagen 1 stimulation, but also the quality of the collagen 1. And why this ingredient was positioned as a biocollagen stimulator? Because here we have compared with different ingredients on the market. For example, ascorbic acid at 10%, niacinamide 4%, glycolic acid, coenzyme Q10 at 5%, and even retinol 0.1%. And we saw that in terms of the collagen 1 stimulation, agent at 2% was able to stimulate to better stimulate collagen 1 when we compare with this ingredient. The next step was to evaluate the clinical study. We have the firmness and the elasticity that was measured in different time. Average number of firmness was the increasing of 90% and the increasing of 16% in elasticity. And here we have the initial time before, in only 14 days, we could see this decreasing. Here we have the wrap up, the information about the product that's indicated to apply at 2% in different type of formulation. And the last, for long lasting, we have the needle-less filler dropper developed with specific technology. It's with the deliver system. It's a natural dermal filler, accurate deliver technology, and for plumping effect. Here we are talking about the selfie. It's this time extract in a liposome that will act on adipocyte, our fat cells, and stimulate non-invasive lipofilling on skin and wrinkles, of the skin and wrinkles. In the clinical study, we could see these results in different area of the face. We have evaluated different wrinkles, comparing 2% selfie and the placebo. Here we have the picture before, initial time, and after 60 days of treatment with these impressive results of wrinkle reduction. The second volunteer before and after 60 days of treatment. And finally, we have the third volunteer before and after treating with 2% selfie with impressive results. It's a time extract ingredient that will stimulate the adipocytes, so it will stimulate our dermal filler with a natural shape. So if you have any question, please let me know. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to today's session. My name is Jasmine Shah. I'm a marketing manager for skincare at Clariant, and today I'm going to be walking you through Clariant's take on skincare trends in 2024. Clariant is actually a supplier of specialty chemicals, which means we provide ingredients for use in personal care, skincare, and hair care products. Our portfolio comprises of 4 core areas: our active ingredients, sensorial ingredients, functional ingredients, and preservatives. Active ingredients are typically high-tech ingredients that have a specific biological pathway target and that provide a sought-after benefit to consumers or users of formulations. Our sensorial ingredients are incorporated into formulations to give them a unique feeling on skin or hair. Our functional ingredients provide a robust performance benefit and enable formulations to have a specific look, stability, texture, and overall feel. Whilst our preservatives are incorporated into formulations to really ensure that harmful microbes don't grow in these formulations. Our portfolio is evolving in line with our company purpose, which is greater chemistry between people and planet, which ultimately means that we're all about enabling more environmentally and socially sustainable solutions for the beauty industry. In addition to this, though, our philosophy at Clariant is all about keeping a pulse on specific consumer trends and mentality to ensure that we can really elevate the skincare and hair care industries as a whole. Ultimately, this is really about keeping track of what consumers are doing, understanding specific trends, and creating formulations using our ingredients to address these specific trends. Here you see a snapshot of some of the previous trends that we've been undergoing and delivering concepts for over the last few years. And the ultimate benefit here is that on one side, we really put ourselves in the shoes of our customers and understand the types of formulations that they're looking to create. But on another hand, are able to take this a step further and really exemplify how our ingredients contribute to these formulations from different perspectives and really illustrate to our customers how our ingredients can help them to achieve the goals that they have relative to their consumers. An example that really illustrates the way in which we work and the three-step process we take is the skinification of hair care and how we addressed this trend some years ago. Now, ultimately, we follow here a three-step process that starts with trend analysis, then translating the trend into key features of a formulation, and then delivering the formulation. In this example, what we had noticed some years ago was that consumers were actually viewing their scalp as an extension of their face skin and requiring similar treatment for their scalp as they would their face skin. We then were able to translate this into specific requirements linked to the format, to the performance, and to the sensory of a specific scalp formulation. And then we're able to deliver, for instance, a scalp scrub that really made use of our functional rheology modifiers to have a very specific sensory and a specific format, as well as included specific active ingredients to deliver sought-after benefits for skincare and hair care. So ultimately, our trend analysis enables us to really frame both our active ingredients and our functional ingredients to really illustrate the use that they have for certain customers. As far as our trend analysis is concerned, we can actually categorize specific trends according to a yearly theme that sums up consumer mentality as they have it towards themselves, towards their community, and towards the planet. So for instance here, what we saw in 2020 was that several trends, especially in personal care, were really centered around self-love, due to the fact that consumers were spending a lot of time with themselves and therefore undergoing a level of self-acceptance and self-love. We can do this for the years to come, which really now begs the question, what could be a theme that sums up consumer mentality towards themselves, towards their community, and towards the planet for 2024? At Clariant, one potential theme that we see here is the theme of connection. And connection actually has three core pillars to it. Mind, body, soul connection, forming deeper quality connections in community, and forming deeper connections to the environment with respect to the planet. Now, ultimately, these three pillars form the overall theme that we're seeing as the year goes through. Now, as far as the mind-body-soul connection goes, what we see is that consumers are actually increasingly in tune with themselves and using personal care as a means to achieve joy and to relax. And what we see here is that consumers are increasingly aware that the way they look affects the way they feel, and vice versa, the way they feel affects the way they look. Hence, we've termed this first pillar mind-body-soul connection. In terms of the community, and coming on now to the second pillar, what we've seen is that consumers have really, following periods of self-isolation, started to reform specific social connections and now focus not just on quantity of connections, but really quality of connections and really the commonalities that they have with others to form deeper, more meaningful relationships. Hence the second pillar here, deeper quality connections. And finally, we come to the third pillar, where we've seen that for a multitude of reasons, consumers are much more connected with the environment and much more aware of their surroundings. As such, we see consumers actually looking to personal care, more reactive to the environment around them. Hence the third pillar here, which is all about connecting to the environment. What we'll do now is walk you through each of these pillars, as well as exemplary outlooks and ways in which we could address them using Clariant ingredients, just as inspiration. We'll start now with the mind-body-soul connection. Now, ultimately, this trend is really about the fact that across the world, we've seen consumers who increasingly use their beauty routines as a means of achieving joy and reducing stress, and overall as a way to feel good. In fact, quite famously, WGSN has actually termed hangover beauty as one of the key trends for 2024. What they mean, though, with respect to this trend is that it's all about the stressed out beauty consumer who's prioritizing joy and pleasure in their wellness routine and understanding that it's a shift away from hyperpositivity and perfection with respect to wellness, much more towards a realistic, more feel-good approach when it comes to beauty. We interpret it this way and think about how we as Clarion can best help our customers to really address this. One example of a way in which we could do this is really summed up by one of our recent concepts termed beauty at play. Beauty at play is really all about a specific trend concept in which we use our range of Aristoflex rheology modifiers to create different format and different feeling skincare formulations. You see an example here of the different textures and the different feelings that we were able to achieve with the use of different Aristoflex polymers in formulations. And ultimately, this concept is all about really intelligent use of these specific rheology modifiers to impart a specific feeling, to add interest, and ultimately just to have fun and create a level of joy when it comes to skincare formulations. We now move on to deeper quality connections. And what we see here is that 2024 is all about really getting vulnerable and forging deeper connections. We expect that Gen Z and millennials are really the ones driving this trend. Now, ultimately, there's a slightly more sinister side to this, which stems from the fact that loneliness is increasingly prevalent and seems to be quite prevalent in young adults. Ultimately, this could really explain in part why consumers are so insistent on using and focusing on brands and products that align with their personal values and make them feel understood rather than just habitual. So they're really in search to feel understood and to really feel connected too. One example, again, of a way to do this is to really think about how we can address specific needs that consumers have rather than make generalizations. And an example of a way in which we did this year was actually through the launch of a hair care concept that really made use of our ingredients to address the needs and the symptoms that would be manifested in consumers experiencing the effects of aging hair. The idea here is to really provide a series of formulations that help consumers to feel understood, connected to, and heard. So being really granular and helpful in terms of the benefits that we're able to provide to them. And finally, we come now to the more specific topic of connecting to the environment. Now, ultimately, we've seen here that consumers are incredibly aware of the environment and also more aware of their surroundings. We see things like growth in the sun care market, which essentially show that consumers are really much more predisposed to react to their environment. And in addition to this here, we're starting to see that consumers are much more focused on the use of personal care products as a way to really brace themselves for the environment around them. One example of this is actually the fact that we see Google searches for things like anti-pollution skincare have been growing since 2016, which really speaks to the fact that consumers are more aware of their environment and actually reacting to it. Now, an example here of a way in which we could address this is via our inspirational concept called GeoBeauty, which was actually inspired by the geodiversity of Latin America, where we took into consideration different geographical landscapes and settings in Latin America and created a series of formulations containing our ingredients to really brace people for such different conditions. The idea here was to frame our ingredients for different environments and so on. If you'd like any further information on any of these concepts, please do not hesitate to let us know. With that, I close the presentation and say thank you, and please do stay in touch with us.
Hi everyone, my name is Flavio Nikovsky. I'm the International Business Manager of DTS Europe, and I'm pleased to present you today with our vision on how packaging characteristics and functionalities influence the future skincare trends. DTS Europe is a company specialized in the manufacture of packaging, applicators, and LS systems that are 100% monomaterial and 100% recyclable. We are completely focused on the development of eco-designs that respond to a new era of sustainable beauty. The development of all our projects always brings technology and innovation to the market, and it's governed by principles such as sustainability and environmental protection, functionality and usefulness of the products, protection and performance of the formulas, and elegance on the designs that provide a good experience for the consumer. Getting into the future trends, there are three trends that we consider that brands must pay attention to during the development and design of new products. They are multifunctionality movement, active ingredients in skincare, and sustainable beauty. The multifunctionality movement started emerging in the last 2 years, and it is still growing. Skincare consumers started saying goodbye to complicated skincare routines, opting for less is more approach. A study carried by Mintel predicts that this behavior of simplifying routines shall be intensified due to the rise in prices and the need to make choices. These factors paved the way for the trend of skinminimalism. The desire for streamlined skincare routines doesn't mean that consumers are willing to compromise on product effectiveness or performance. Consumers expect brands to educate them on the potential of the ingredients, application techniques, and additional benefits that help them to reduce their environmental impact, address their skin concerns, and save time and money. This multifunctionality trend can pose some challenges for the skincare brands when developing a new product. It is a trend that requires the design and the production of more demanding formulas that probably won't work in standard packaging. Airless packaging is often the only packaging capable of maintaining the performance and functionality of multitasking formulas. I would like to give you the example of this Dermalogicus product, the Pore Screen Mineral Sunscreen SPF 40. After much search, our pump was the only one capable of integrating this formula, characterized by being a multitasking sunscreen that delivers SPF 40 protection while supporting healthy-looking pores, minimizing their appearance with a blurring primer-like effect and enhancing the skin tone with a hint of tint for radiant skin. There has also been a growing number of consumers who give top priority to higher quality active ingredients when making their purchases. Climate change is also directly related to this demand for active ingredients due to the need and growing demand for protection products. Environmental changes have amplified the need to protect the skin from high levels of UV index, pollution, blue light, and ultrafine dust. Formulas with active ingredients is another trend that normally requires airless packaging to maintain its integrity and to increase the shelf life after opening. Again, this Dermalogica product is an example of that, with a microencapsulated formula that is able to change color when in contact with the skin. The technology maintains the integrity of the microcapsules until they come into contact with the skin. With sustainable becoming increasingly important to the consumers, it is crucial for the beauty brands to stay ahead of the curve. We consider this topic one of the main future trends in skincare, since sustainable beauty is about making conscious and informed choices when it comes to the product consumers use and how they use them. It is also the brand's responsibility to educate consumers and simplify their daily life regarding to packaging usage and its end-of-life disposal. We believe that skincare brands need help from packaging suppliers and formulators in order to develop new products that are truly sustainable and that can become a user and environmental friendly product for the consumer. Within this trend, there are a few packaging concepts that will help brands to stay ahead of the curve. One of them is the packaging with design for recyclability. with monomaterial and 100% recyclable options where there is no need to disassemble to recycle and to generate a high-quality PCR products. There are some brands that are the forefront of concept and launch 100% recyclable products. For example, Codex with Bia, Shant, and Antu lines, or Creamy Skincare with the serum and the Inca List with the salicylic acid and retinol serums. Also, refillable options that encourage the reduction of waste is another way to go. With this trend, it is essential that in the next years, skincare brands are able to design new products with systems capable of integrating challenging formulas, but also having an user-friendly and outstanding appearance. It is also obvious the importance of having an entire product line follow the concept of design for recyclability and to carry out the transition from ordinary multi-material packaging to sustainable monomaterial and certified packaging. This transition often brings with several challenges, and our mission is for our customers to do with confidence and safely. DTS Europe has been supporting skincare brands and focusing on the development of sustainable designs for many years, with a wide range of solutions for challenging and sustainable formulas. We are here to help you carry out a green transition in beauty packaging. Now it's your turn. Please feel free to ask any questions.
Hello, my name is Karina Jess. I am Marketing Manager for Active Beauty in Latin America. Today, I'll be presenting you 3 key beauty trends for 2024. These trends, they are coming from our global innovation program named Beyond. This program empowers our scientists, our formulators, our marketing professionals, but also our customers to design beauty innovation that will improve consumers' holistic wellness. Let's begin with the first trend. This first trend is named epidermal rewilding, and it's all about enhancing skin's natural ecosystem for health and protection. In the recent years, we have seen a huge amount of ingredient-led products coming out in the market. And while these products are very appealing to consumers, they contain active ingredients that, if they are misused or overused, can trigger skin reactivity. And this is actually what we have seen. Consumers began to develop some skin sensitivities. And in social media platforms, we have seen communicators, beauty experts, dermatologists, or brands communicating and educating consumers to correctly use those active ingredients. This has led the consumer to be aware of notions such as the skin barrier, for example, but also the skin's microbiome, which is the skin diverse microflora. In our consumer studies, we have actually seen that 76% of consumers believe that taking care of the skin's microbiome is crucial for their skin health. This opens opportunity for brands to develop products that will care of the skin microbiome while it repairs and strengthens skin. At Active Beauty, we have decades of expertise in studying the microbiome of the skin. And recently, we have launched the B-Biome Score. This is the first transparent microbiome-friendly label. And this label is set to improve our understanding of the impact of those active ingredients on skin's microbiome. This has been scientifically supported by a publication and also by a dermatological expertise. The second trend is called emotional intelligence. And it's all about consumers' desire of reconnection with their emotions. Emotions are the next breakthrough in the beauty industry. Since COVID, we have seen consumers are increasingly stressed and they are looking for ways to decompress. And we have seen the importance of the beauty industry and beauty routines in helping consumers to balance their psycho-emotional state. We have seen, for example, brands getting out of social media platforms because those platforms doesn't share the same values and simply doesn't take care of the user's mental health. So the link between mental health, mental well-being, and beauty is really clear. And this has opened also opportunities because advancement in science and in technologies have been opening new ways and less traditional ways to help the consumer de-stress and relax. At Givaudan Active Beauty, we use neuroscience to develop ingredients that will be good both for the skin of the consumer and also for their mental well-being. One ingredient that does that is patchouli. Patchouli is a 100% upcycled ingredient. It's extracted from patchouli leaves. Patchouli leaves are actually used a lot in the fragrance industry to extract an essential oil, and the byproduct of this first extraction is used by Active Beauty to create this new ingredient. This new ingredient has very interesting benefits for scalp. It balances normalized sebum production, it eliminates dry flakes, and it also balances scalp microbiome. And we use neuroscientific studies to demonstrate that after a 28 days treatment, we are also able to improve consumers' well-being and psycho-emotional state because we demonstrated that consumers that use this treatment are able to feel more positive and positive emotions. So this is how we can use also beauty to improve consumers' well-being. The third trend is called intimacy awakening. This trend is also about consumers' desire of reconnection, but this time with their body. So consumers today, they are looking for experiences that are good both for the mind and for the body. And this has led some categories such as intimate care and sexual wellness to join the sphere of holistic wellness. We have seen consumers increasingly have guilt-free interest for those categories, and in various areas and fields of the culture, we can see that. For example, we have this popular teenager TV show called Sex Education that opened the door to open-minded and positive discussions and conversations about intimacy and relationship. And the beauty brands that have joined this growing movement, they are now offering new products, new textures that offer care, but also education and guidance. And this through experiences that are fun, that are efficient, and that are inclusive also. So we have seen also this interest in consumer studies. For example, 82% of consumers globally are interested in products that will respect the feminine biological cycles. One ingredient that is very well known for intimate comfort is cranberry. In our portfolio, we have a cranberry oil. This is an active oil that has been demonstrated to have biological benefits such as antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, soothing properties, but we also have demonstrated that this oil is able to balance intimate microflora. So this is also an ingredient that will have biological benefits and will improve consumers' well-being. Thank you for your attention.
With this presentation, I would like to show how easy it is to obtain different textures for different skin needs, using a limited amount of ingredients, all from All Star, in different combinations. When does our skin need different textures? During our entire life. While we grow up, our skin changes and requires different textures and different combinations of active ingredients. Aging is the main reason of changes in our skin. In the slide, you can find the major steps of change happening during the life. In the 20s, the skin is more oily and acne-prone. During the 30s, we start to notice discolorations, fine lines, and volume loss. At middle age, with the hormone changes, we start to see proper wrinkles, mainly around eyes and mouth. In the 50s, wrinkles become deep, eyes look more tired, and lines on the neck start to appear. And then in the 60s, there is mainly facial moisture loss with consequent very sensitive skin. And for each of these steps is required a different beauty product with different texture and composition. Polestar can help the formulators in creating a wide range of finished products for different needs, thanks to a portfolio rich in multifunctional ingredients. With this presentation, we can propose a set of formulations suitable for all the times of our lives. My 20s cream and my 60s cream were created accordingly to the very different needs and preferences of young and mature skin. Combining these two formulations in different ways, it's possible to obtain customized formula for different phases of life. My 20s cream, dedicated to young skins, is based on Oliven 2020, that is an oil in water cold processable emulsifier that, when it's combined with Oliven 300, provides a jelly and fresh texture. A young skin is physiologically well hydrated, and this is why the oil phase has a limited amount of components, and they are biochemical like butter to provide a free radical scavenger activity together with a nice fragrance, biochemical biovera oil with antioxidant activity supported by epilobium oleactive, that is an active ingredient that moisturizes the skin and protects it from oxidation. Life Oil Booster is an energizing extract that helps to minimize signs of skin, and in the water phase is added Urol BT for its anti-acne activity. So my 20s cream is a clever combination of ingredients that provide a light and non-greasy texture with additional antioxidant and anti-acne activity, all delivered in a nice shade of pink.
My 60s cream is rich and nourishing and provides lifting and anti-wrinkle effect. It's based on Oliven 1000, an oil in water emulsifier that helps creating a rich texture without being greasy on the skin. The oil phase is more complex compared to the previous formulation because at the age of 60, the skin is much more physiologically less hydrated and needs more proper anti-wrinkle and anti-aging ingredients. Biochemical avocado and babassu oil were selected because they deliver excellent emolliency together with the biochemical monoi and shea butter that strongly nourish the skin. In order to overcome the low level of hydration, it was also added sensoline that was demonstrated in an in vivo clinical test to be effective in improving moisturization and reducing transepidermal water loss. Propolis Oil Active works on reducing deep wrinkles, and Lift Oil Active is highly effective on the fine lines. Both ingredients together will provide a fresher and younger appearance to the skin. In this slide, we have the demonstration of the two opposite textures obtained with the smart combination of all-star ingredients. The graph shows that My 20s cream has a light and cooling effect with high spreadability, while the My 60s cream is the opposite, richer, more nourishing, and hydrating. Now we know how to obtain perfect formulations for the ages of 20 and 60. But what does happen in between? That's easy to answer. We combine the two formulations in different ratios in order to match the different skin needs. I mean, to obtain My 30s cream, 75% of My 20s and 25% of My 60s cream were combined together in order to have a cream still light and fresh on the skin, but with a small addition of anti-aging active ingredients and nourishing oils and butters. That's because at this age, the skin starts to lose elasticity and hydration, and first fine lines appear. In the same way, were created My 40s and My 50s cream, but combining the two first emulsions in different percentages. At 40s, we are perfectly in between the two extremes, and the needs are also perfectly in between. So My 20s and My 60s cream were combined at 50% each. In the My 50s cream, as we are closer to the age of 60s, the skin needs more hydration and anti-aging active ingredients. So just 25% of My 20s cream is needed to be combined with the more nourishing 75% of My 60s cream. In conclusion, it's possible to obtain myriad of textures and skin benefits for our beauty creams just selecting from All-Star portfolio.
Hello everyone and welcome to the live Q&A session of today's webinar. We hope you've been inspired and educated by all of the presentations over the past hour. And if you'd like to know anything further, now is your chance to send in all your questions for our panelists on everything skincare related. I can see that some of you already have, which is excellent, but do keep them coming in. And others, of course, have sent in questions as part of the registration process. So we will attempt to answer as many questions as possible in the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. So unfortunately, Mariana from Kenny Union cannot be with us today, but her colleague, Raphael Biscaro, has joined us kindly in her absence. So Raphael, could you maybe introduce yourself to our viewers?
Hello everyone, I'm Rafael Biscaro. I work with Mariana. I'm a skincare specialist focused on the trends and also the product development of Communion. So I'm here to help you guys through all of that doubts and questions.
Excellent stuff. So without any further ado, let's get cracking with all the questions. So to start, we have one here asking which skincare actives will resonate in 2024? I know there's a lot of you here that could answer this. Raphael, now that you've spoken and introduced yourself, should we get you to answer that? What are your actives predictions for next year?
Perfect. Thank you for the introduction. So according to WSCN, we have some intrinsic activities for next year. And we have the Business Pilosa one, that is one of the main ingredients that is focused for next year. That is a plant-based retinol. It is alternative for retinol because it contains phytanic acid, which activates the same receptor in the skin as the retinol. But unlike the synthetic retinol, Business Pilosa has a safe efficacy for pregnant and breastfeeding people because it can be used during the night, during the day, without having the sensation of redness, irritation of the skin. Also, WGSN focus on chlorophyll, that is also a natural ingredient that is very, very rich in vitamin C, A, and E, that so is a powerful antioxidant. And also it's interesting to mention that we have other ingredient in the WSCN mentioned that is a Japanese plant called ashtaba, that is known as tomorrow leaf, that can reduce the cellular turnover, then decline in the turnover of the cells by decreasing the formation of the free radicals.
Excellent. They all sound absolutely fantastic. Is there anybody else who'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I can go also. So I just saw actually in the chat that someone said nothing is new, and I mean I think it's partly true. You know, those skincare iconic molecules that we have seen in the last 20 years are gaining a new regain of interest because new consumers are beginning their skincare journey. So our focus at Givaudan Active Beauty is always to revisit and redesign, transform those skincare molecules to augment their power. So yeah, let's get also engage and with those molecules that we know, such as high hyaluronic acid, retinol, those molecules actually resonates with consumers today. And yes, it's worth it putting on the market another product with a new technology with those ingredients.
Absolutely. They are heroes for a reason, as they say. Lovely. So we have a question here. This is a great one. What role will the skin microbiome play in future formulations? And also saying, is correcting microbiome dysbiosis the biggest trend in skincare? Again, Karine, given your B biome, you might be a great person to answer this.
Yes, so the first trend I presented to the audience is actually really talking about this understanding that the consumers has nowadays, that those good bacteria that we have in our skin are there for a reason, and if they are balanced, it's actually crucial, and it will lead to a healthy, good-looking skin. So I think it's one of the major trends because we have seen that consumers are developing skin sensitivity, so brands have the opportunity to put products on the market that are gentle to the skin. And this B Biome score, this is a label that is said to help those brands to, you know, evaluate and reassure the consumer that the products will not be perturbing and unbalancing the microbiome of the skin. This is the basic, one of the basic layers of our skin, so it is important to take care of it also.
Fantastic, completely agree with that. So we have somebody asking here, how do you see the skinification trend going forward? A great question. Maybe Jasmine, we haven't heard from you yet. Would you be interested in answering that one?
Yes, absolutely. So I think the first part here is to understand what the skinification trend is really all about. It's really just about this approach that we've seen that's really been taken with facial skincare of diving in on specific hero active ingredients, as well as just having a multi-step routine now being sort of applied to other application areas. So I think there are a few aspects here, but the first potentially most obvious aspect with respect to the skinification trend is that we see it playing out in other application areas. So we see hero ingredients that were used for the skin now used in hair care or maybe scalp care, which maybe is a bit closer to skincare in some regards. But I think the second part here is really to think about the fact that this skinification effect really comes from a consumer that's much more informed and much more intentional with what they put on their face and on their body. So we see hero ingredients now being used in body care a lot more, and I think that's going to continue in 2024. But what it also means is that we really need to, I think, understand that a consumer in 2024 will be looking for skincare benefits in color cosmetics, in sun care, and across their whole routine. So I think from the perspective here of a supplier of specialty ingredients for use in skincare, we need to be really mindful that the ingredients we provide need to be suitable across these ranges of applications, and also understand that consumers are going to be using these products in a slightly different way. So for instance, layering their sunscreens with their color cosmetics, and maybe expecting color cosmetics to also have this added skincare benefit.
Interesting angle there. Flavio, I can imagine actually from your aspect as a packaging provider, are you seeing less traditional areas like body care or maybe color cosmetics starting to use packaging, which is more frequently been used by the skincare area? Is that something we've seen on the packaging side as well?
Well, what we can see that you all spoke about these wonderful trends and wonderful ingredients, wonderful formulas. But yes, it is very important having also wonderful packaging and following the trends.
Okay, oops, apologies, Flavio. I thought maybe we'd lost you then.
Yeah, I think so. So I was saying that it is, we can see wonderful formulas, these very much sustainable ones. And our focus is to have sustainable packaging for these sustainable formulas. Yeah, we develop, there were many requests from customers that develop low viscosity formulas that required protection against air and against the environment. So we also develop special systems like airless systems for low viscosity formulas. And we see that the trend now is more and more getting into sustainability. And having sustainable formulas without having sustainable packaging is useless. And here is what we are doing, trying to attend these needs of our customers for these sustainable and very recyclable packaging. Yeah.
Absolutely, you've got to approach everything from both angles with skincare. Actually, I've got another one for you here. What's the next skin packaging trend coming? You've mentioned sustainability. Are there any other aspects as well?
Well, we had to we faced some challenges in the past when PCR started to be a trend and of course a need, and we do understand. Our challenge was, okay, what's the use to start working with PCR without providing a good PCR quality? And because we believe in the circular economy, we are very happy and very glad to be the pioneers of developing the first monomaterial airless system in polyethylene, 100% recyclable. And so it's not only the trend, but the need to be sustainable. There is no other way of producing any kind of packaging that it is, let's say, not complicated, but complex for the consumer to dispose. We have to produce sustainable packaging, but also user-friendly, sorry. and that the consumer does not need to think how to dispose it and how to disassemble. So this is the trend that we see, having user-friendly packaging, very easy to use, environmental friendly, and very easy to dispose and to recycle.
Absolutely, it's incredibly important to encourage consumer compliance in that respect. So moving back to ingredients here, somebody is asking, what are the biggest trends you're seeing in naturals going forward? Is there anybody that might want to hop on that one, the natural side of things? I was going to say, Anna, we haven't heard from you yet. Is that something that you'd like to comment on?
Yeah, I would say that all the ingredients now must be natural derived, especially with a special attention to palm, soy, or coconut derived ingredients. So they must be almost all natural, starting from the emulsifier, emollients, active ingredients. So there isn't a specific trend. All need to be natural derived.
Fantastic.
And also, I'm sorry, I can add some information, not talk about only the palm and the other types of ingredients. We can talk about the presentation that Mariana said before. There is a clinical movement. We are seeing that people are looking for safe alternatives and the same efficacy of a Botox, a procedure, and for our face, our body. But now people want to see really incredible results, but without sensitized ingredients that will cause irritation. So according to Circana, that was present in the presentation, the American Bureau of Consumers are looking for clean ingredients, natural ingredients, but the same efficacy as a synthetic molecule or a procedure, so can they use for a pre or post-intervention drug treatments for Botox or lipid plumping or something like that. So it's a natural in a safe way.
Absolutely. We've actually, yes, please go for it.
Sorry, I would have just added on this to say that I fully agree with the points made before, but I think it's not just about the consumers. I think when it comes to people who are actually making formulations, there's a real need here to have, in certain cases, natural or naturally derived functional ingredients that really can match the performance of some of the previously synthetic products. So that could be, for instance, a rheology modifier that really thickens to the same level. And there are still certain gaps here to close in that regard. But it's absolutely something in that space. And then also perhaps to add that in addition to naturality, a lot of sort of people are really requiring products to also be biodegradable as well as natural.
Absolutely. And we've got a question here actually, which has come in today, asking whether we're seeing more of an appetite for upcycled ingredients in the skincare market, which I think is also a really interesting aspect in this. Have you guys noticed that there is much more of an appetite for that?
I can go.
No.
I mean, I think those ingredients have they answer a concern from the consumers, which is the impact our ingredients in our cosmetics have in, our planet's resources. So, for example, at Givaudan Active Beauty, we use a lot of byproducts from the fragrance industry, and this is a way we achieve a lower impact, creating new ingredients, creating extracts from plants that have been used first for extracting the essential oil. So, I think this is it's not specific to upcycled ingredients, but every ingredient that will have a lower impact on the planet will be attractive for consumers. This is a question of communicating also. Brands need to communicate to consumers why these ingredients, why this extract is better than another one. And I think upcycled ingredients have this really great argument for consumers.
Fantastic. And interestingly, because you mentioned there about obviously your fragrance business as well, you have a question asking what about aromacology in skincare? So I think this whole mood beauty thing, we've covered it before in our webinars, but within skincare, how does the future of that look?
So I don't have so much property to speak about the fragrance side of the business, but I mean, if you are interested, at Givaudan, there is a lot of technologies in fragrances that help, and that are actually scientifically proven that some odors, some molecules have mood boosting effects. In skincare, I just talked about one ingredient that has mood boosting properties. We evaluate these mood boosting properties on active ingredients also. This is neuroscience, and this is very interesting to see the link, the clear link between, you know, the well-being and also the skincare or the skincare. So.
And also we can talk about the how the cosmetic ingredients could help people, for example, in radiotherapy. During radiotherapy, we have a lot of inflammation, we have a lot of the barrier compromising. So if you talk about moisturizing, how you can increase the transportation of water during the skin during the period, or an active, natural active that could decrease the inflammatory cytokines during this process, could help the people feel better during the treatment of, for example, radiotherapy.
Fantastic. So we have a couple of questions here which are more on the, I guess, the age-related side. So we have somebody asking which ingredients are effective in skincare for a woman during and after menopause. I think this is a really growing area with a lot more focus. Is there anyone that wants to hop on that question?
Answer that question. We here in Communio that we have recently analyzed countless of scientific articles that raise the impacts of the hormonal changes on the skin. And we can highlight, for example, the hot flashes, that is the hot that people feeling during the menopause period, the age spots that start to be larger, and the dark areas of the skin could be on the face, on the hand, on the neck, arms, chest, the dry skin because the skin starts to lose the ability to hold water. And also we can see some rashes because the skin starts to get easily irritated. So as we can see about the firmness at the age, we have also a loss of skin firmness and elasticity because the collagen decreases a lot during this period, and mainly the collagen type 3. And for the last, I remember the lipotrophy, that was one of the topics of the articles that talks about the loss of volume and the flaccidity of the skin. So it's interesting to focus on ingredients, for example, that act on the skin's inflammatory cascade, ingredients that activate the skin natural antioxidant system, and also lipid active ingredients that mimics the skin barrier, and also ingredients that will improve the water distribution of the skin. Once that the skin starts to lose a lot of water and lose the capacity of to hold water. And talking about reversing the signs of aging and firmness, it's interesting to look at the ingredients that will promote different types of collagen, not only collagen type 1, collagen type 3, collagen type 4, and also to increase the production of the adipocytes in specific regions, not the whole body. For example, we have some specific regions, like the nasolabial region of the mouth that starts to be the loss of the elasticity, and you can increase the adipocytes content to improve the contour and also the architecture of the face. So you give the architecture of the face before the menopause phase.
Wonderful. Is there anyone else that wants to add to that before we move to swing around to the other side and ask about Gen Z? All right, then. In that case, we have somebody asking here specifically, is there any difference in skincare needs within the Gen Z population? So obviously there's going to be certain kinds of ingredients which are especially good and effective for young skins, but this particular generation, what are they looking for in a skincare product? Does anyone fancy answering that one? Or are we all too old to be Gen Z? I think maybe that's slightly out of our remit, possibly. Let me move on to another one. So, this is a good one. And I think it was brought up maybe a bit earlier on, but somebody's asking here, is biotech the next big thing? Anyone want to hop on that? Or maybe Kareem?
Yeah, so I think we believe in biotech at Givaudan Active Beauty since our creation. So for us, it's our reality. And what I can say is that I think that now the advantage and the arguments that we have with biotech are really answering consumers' concerns, because with biotech, we are able to have biomimetic ingredients. We are able to create alternatives to synthetic molecules. We are able to lower also our impact on the planet's resources. So all those arguments that we have for biotech ingredients are really attractive for consumers nowadays. I mean, as I said, I think it's all a question of communicating right on the ingredients. We have studies with consumers that show that consumers, when they understand that biotech has a lower impact on the planet, they are more interested in those kind of ingredients than natural ingredients, for example. And also biotech ingredients can be natural if we put on because almost all the biotech ingredients we have on our portfolio as naturals as the reference ISO 16128. So yeah, I mean, I think this is something that begins to be known or talked, and the consumer, when well explained, understand the arguments in favor of those ingredients.
Fantastic. And we have a question here asking, do we have any 2024 trending ingredients focused on Black women? So, are there any ingredients that are particularly good for products for people with melanin-rich skins? No worries. We'll move on to the next one then. So somebody here is asking, what are the trends in dermocosmetics? This is a really great area. Is anyone working on anything like that? And has anyone noticed any specific trends in that area?
We can talk about the mix of the dermal procedures and the skincare. So the future of the dermocosmetics is to join the clinic aesthetics, the procedures, the treatments that people are talking about all the time, and the celebrities, the young ones, the major ones. That is to improve the skin for better lips, for better production of collagen, for Botox. So the companies for skincare should be looking for how can I add something for that? How can I extend the effects of the procedure? Or how can I help people that don't want to do the procedures? So it's smart to join the clinic aesthetics and the practice that they are doing, because now you can be aligned and we have some space in this market. I think you are muted.
Apologies to our viewers and apologies to you guys as well. I was too excited about the next question. We do have a question here which is very similar to that, but they are asking, is skincare still trendy in the presence of fillers, Botox, facial machines, etc.? Where does skincare have a place in that? I think I know what you're going to say, that it's maybe a beautiful relationship as opposed to a takeover. But yes, I'll leave you to say that in your words maybe and to expand on it. So is there anybody who would, Raphael?
So it's similar that I was talking before. It's smart to join, and not to fight. So a lot of companies try to say, it's better to do Botox, it's better to do fillers, it's better to do that, but it's not smart to attack because we have different publics, we have different people, and sometimes they want just the procedure, and sometimes they only want the cosmetics. So it's smart to not be fighting for, but being aligned in this cause. So even that people are looking for quickly results about when they talk about procedures, people still you want to, for example, the preparation of a procedure for hydration, for example. We also have people that suffer with needles, so we have to focus on products for calming effects, for relaxing effect during spirit. So it's important to look for the procedures trends and understand how can I be part of that? How can I add something for that? So it's smart to join the people, so you always be on trending of the dermatological procedures.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I can see that we are coming up to nearly an hour and 15 minutes now. So I think I will wrap us all up for today. But thank you so much to all of our panelists for your insights there. And to our viewers as well, thank you for joining us. Apologies if we didn't get around to your specific question today. As mentioned at the start of the webinar, maybe if you were a bit late to proceedings and missed a bit and would like to catch up, all of this will be available on demand. And I'm sure you'll be delighted to know, and we're definitely delighted to let you know, that Cosmetics Business will be running even more roundtable webinars in the new year on a host of exciting and topical subjects. And this will all be kicking off on the 15th of February at the usual time with a webinar on sustainability and the claims and metrics beauty companies can use. It's a very important theme, as we have heard today. And there is a sign-up box in front of you, so make sure that you don't miss out. And also, if you are yourself an expert on sustainability, we do actually still have one speaker slot left. So do feel free to register your interest via our Q&A box just now. So with all of that said, I would like to extend a huge thank you to all of our speakers, and thank you to you too, our audience, for watching. Goodbye and have a happy holidays.